This is the Elevate Media Podcast, created for high achievers on a mission to continuously elevate their life and business. Now here's your host, Chris Anderson.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Chris Anderson, your host. Today, we've got a good episode. We're going to be talking about relationships, all right? And that can be a hairy subject for some people, but the guest today is an expert in making relationships cool again, as he would say. And we're excited to have this chat. I think it's going to be a really cool thing, especially in the time we're in with AI and everything online, actually making relationships in person between two people cool again. And so we got AD, the Kingmaker Dunbar, on the show. AD, welcome to the show today, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. And I think you're going to have a great time. I think you're going to want to have a part two. Like this is, I love talking about this stuff, man. I really do.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, I got to ask, before you became the Kingmaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who were you in relationships? Like, what was your role? What was your view on relationships before
my goodness.
you grew into who you are now?
So, man, I remember back in grade school, 8th and 9th grade, I would be like, man, I would love to grow up and have a girlfriend one day. Oh my God, that would be amazing, right? I remember going to Six Flags and seeing all the couples and they're like teenagers dating, or we go to the movies and I see couples holding hands. I was like, I was just a hopeless romantic, right? And that lasted for a long time. I think a lot of men stay in that state. And it just I would meet a woman or a young lady. I like her a lot. She liked me a lot. Months down the line, that's no longer the case. And you start over with someone new. You meet her, you like her a lot. She likes you a lot. She cheats. And you're just like, what the heck is going on for years and years and years at a time? And so, yeah, that was me in a relationship for a very long time, until I reached a point one day where I was just like, I'm tired of having the same outcomes. Like, what is it that I'm doing to create this outcome? Notice I didn't say, what is it that I'm doing wrong? It's just, what am I doing to create this outcome? And then I went on a journey where I spent over $200,000, and I just got in front of everyone who I could to learn something about relationships. I got coaching from Muslim men who have multiple wives. I got coaching from women who have multiple husbands. I got coaching from swingers, from pimps, from pickup artists. Like, anybody who had a better outcome or who knew something about the male-female dating and romantic dynamic that I didn't, I sat in front of them and I asked every question that I could get out, so that when I could see a situation play out in real time, I can understand, oh, that's why this is happening. And now I'm just able to see patterns very easily.
So what did you come to a consensus when you were doing all this research? So there was a few things that really stuck out in relationships that caused friction or caused them not to work out? Or was it just, is there so many things out there, you just have to know it all?
Man, no. So in my past life, I was an engineer. And as an engineer, you want to understand, what are the basics? What are the principles? Just like the best basketball players, they just do the basics really well. Passing, dribbling, shooting, right? So I just wanted to understand, to your earlier question, you said, is there one thing? Is there many things? There's so many, because everyone is a relationship expert, right? I know so many people have been married for 10, 15, 20 years who are miserable, who are experts at relationship, right? And there's so many beliefs that sound good that are just not true. They're just not true. I like to live in line with the universe, right? Pain is the universe's way of telling you that what you believe to be true is not true, right? And so there's two ways that we can learn. We can learn through our own experience of pain, or we can learn through the wisdom of others, meaning they went through the pain and we just learned a lesson from them.
Sure. Yeah.
And so one of the things that is absolutely not true is this whole idea around happy wife, happy life. Let me tell you, Chris, these are the most miserable men on the planet, bar none. I know, because that used to be me. And so, to go back to your question before, what's the one thing that's consistently happening? What happens is a man meets a woman. He likes her. She likes him. It's never equal. Someone always likes the other person more. Someone always likes the other person a little bit less. It might be a whole lot less. It might be a little bit less, but there's always a power dynamic at play, right? And slowly over time, what this man will do and this woman will do, they'll both do it consensually, is he will start to do things out of love and an infatuation that literally decrease and deplete her desire for him. And then you look back over 20 years and you're like, wait, she didn't used to talk to me like this. I didn't used to have to ask for sex or affection or softness or respect. She just kind of freely gave it. And now I've done more than I've ever done. And I'm getting less than I've ever gotten. And now I'm in this mediocre marriage and I don't know what to do about it. That is the problem that I saw. I'm the best on earth at solving that problem because I just understand the pattern.
So is the happy wife, happy life, and the quote, nice guys finish last kind of correlated? Do they connect in any way?
Yes, they absolutely are. Great question. So I tell now, I also tend to be a bit extreme with the things that I say because I want to make people feel things. I'm not big on shame, but I am big on making you feel something to make a decision. Okay. Whether that's to like, subscribe, share, comment, or just never listen to me again. Either way, make a decision. To me, there are 3 types of men in relationships. You have peasants, you have good guys, and you have kings. Okay. And my PR manager was like, bro, your answers are too long. Shorten them. I'm trying to do my best at that. So there's this show called Survivor. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they had one season where they had men and women on an island. They separated them, right, into 2 different teams, men and women. And at the beginning of the season, the men were just crushing it. They were killing the women. Like it wasn't even close. Okay. It's kind of like how men's US basketball used to just blow out all the teams by 50. It was like that, right?
Yeah.
But at the very end of the show, the women won. And so the question becomes, how the hell did they pull that off?
Right.
Well, there's actually 2 types of men, right? On that particular show. There were the alpha men, the strong, confident, capable ones. And then there were the beta men, right? These are the men who they just weren't as strong, as confident. And so what the women did is they teamed up with the beta males. And I think there was something in place where they could vote people off the island. Yeah. And so they voted the alpha men off the island. And then once all the alpha men were gone, the women band together and voted the beta men off the island, and the women won. And so that's what I mean when I say the 3 types of men. The peasant man is the beta male. He is the one he kind of puts women on a pedestal. Maybe he was raised by a woman, and his father wasn't around. Maybe like myself, he didn't grow up with sisters or women in the house. So he just believes like women are just these amazing angelic creatures who can do no wrong. And that's totally not true. Okay. And so he kind of worships them. And then you have the kings, right? And these are the men who understand. There's not a lot of these guys, but they understand that they have inherent value. Like who they are is valuable outside of what they bring to a woman or what they bring to a relationship. One of the things that I tell my clients is super valuable, but you would have to understand women's nature to understand this. Women exist in a constant and perpetual state of fear at all times, always. Like they're just always afraid of everything in every moment. So if you're not that way, if you are even 50% less afraid of everything all the time and you're with her, she now gets to benefit from your calmness. Yep. There's value in who you are and just being there and being present and being calm. The kings understand that. The peasants don't. So the good guys are somewhere in between. Like they've got the success and the trappings of a king, like the lifestyle, the money, the poise, the social status. But they, to a degree, they're still very naive when it comes to women, and what it takes to properly lead a woman and have a long-lasting, harmonious relationship filled with love, sex, respect, lust, all the things.
Yeah. And we've seen, I think, a lot of a shifting in what that man should look like in a relationship. I think, we've heard, toxic masculinity, and that's been just thrown in guys' faces. And that's like, I think there's confusion in the men's camp, right? Like, where are we actually supposed to be so we don't get, canceled and we can still lead like we're supposed to? Like I would say, like, I'm a nice guy, but I'm not a good guy. I'm a nice guy. Like, I can be respectful, but like probably like let's not tempt or toe the line and cross it if we want to be okay. But like, where's that confusion? Where is that like that loss?
Good question. You ready? Very simple. And if brother, I am nothing else if I am not simple. Okay, I keep everything. I might oversimplify too much sometimes, but that's okay.
I got you.
The problem is most men do not Most men see their value through the eyes of a woman. Meaning I'm valuable because I'm 6 feet and they like men who are 6 feet. I'm valuable because I have a lot of money and they like women who make money. I'm valuable because I'm confident and they value confident men. And they never step aside and say, wait, what is my benefits package? Like what comes along with me, period, regardless of what the other person thinks about it. For example, I'm funny. I know that. I know that because I'm funny, I make fun of myself. I make fun of other people. I have a funny way of seeing the world. Just by being in my presence and having a conversation, you're gonna get a good laugh. Guaranteed. Yeah. That's a part of my benefits package that I know that no one needs to affirm me for it. Yep. Right. And a woman I might be with two different women, and one woman says, "Oh my goodness, you're just so funny." And another woman might say, "Oh, everything is just such a joke to him. He doesn't take anything serious." I don't care.
Yeah. Yep.
I like who likes me and I like me. So because men have been taught not to value themselves, we see our value through the eyes and the lens of a woman, and then we kind of shift and mold and shape ourselves into who we believe we need to be or we should be based on the Bible, the Quran, society, our mom, our dad, what the wife thinks. And you kind of just get lost and you don't know who you are anymore because you keep trying to bend and mold and shape to what is expected of you. Right? I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely so much being fed to us and we've forgotten kind of who we are. So how do guys do that? If guy is like, man, you're right, AD, I don't really know who I am. I don't know how I should be. How do they go about, healing and fixing themselves, or at least seeing themselves as they truly should be?
That's a loaded question, and sure. I'm gonna get the best answer that I can. I would say go back and remember who you were. Like that young man, before you were a husband, before you were a boyfriend, before you were an employee or a father or anything else, you were a young man, and that young man had dreams. I have this mentor who was a pimp in his past life, right? I learned so much from this guy. It was ridiculous. Like you would never, the stuff I'm about to tell you, you wouldn't think that it came from a former pimp, right? Yeah. And we were talking about the word midlife crisis. And I had this guy who I was talking to one day who he was divorced after being married for 16 years. Right. Now, remember the number 16 because it's going to keep coming up. And we're talking on the phone and I'm like, well, what do you want? And he's like, I don't know. I just had my vision for myself and my family after being married for 16 years. But now that she's gone and, she divorced me, I don't know what I want. And I'm like, okay, well, you were married for 16 years. Do you have any kids? Yes, I have a 16-year-old. Interesting. Where do you work? Oh, I work at this factory. How long you been there? I've been there 16 years. Okay. So you met her 16 years ago, you got pregnant, you got a job. Why did you get that job? Do you love it? Do you hate it? He's like, no, I just got it because she told me to get it. Oh, okay. Did you have the child when you wanted to, or was that on her time? And he was like, no, she wanted a child, so I gave it to her. And I was like, well, how did the marriage end? He was like, well, I had a feeling she was cheating on me, but she would never just come out and say it. So I followed her one day to her boyfriend's house and I had to catch her. And I'm like, that's a lot of effort to go through, bro. Like that's a lot of, and so what I say all that to say, Chris, this young man, this guy had a dream. He was in his 30s or 40s. When he was 16, 17, 18, he had a dream. It could have been to be a movie actor. It could be an astronaut, it could have been a rapper, a singer, it could have been anything. And he just totally disregarded that for the sake of love and marriage and kids. And now that this woman is gone, he has no idea who the hell he is. Mm-hmm. Now back to the word midlife crisis.
Yeah.
What that guy was having was a midlife crisis, or he's on the verge of one. And to me, a midlife crisis is a man waking up one day, literally, and saying, you know what? I've been living my life as a protector, a provider, a husband, a father, all these titles and these labels, because that makes me feel good. I can identify as a husband and I can puff my chest out. Okay.
Right.
And he's been identifying all these things, and he has no clue who he is deep down inside. Like he's got all these labels, but like, who are you? And he's not praised that young man. He's not checked in with that young man. He's not followed any of his dreams or his goals or his own ambitions. He became who he needed to become to secure the heart of a woman. Right.
Yep.
And so typically in a midlife crisis, what you'll see is a guy he'll go get like a convertible. He'll go get a young girlfriend. He's all up and down the highway. And it's like a midlife crisis, which is shaming language, is a man waking up and saying, you know what, I'm going to choose to live for me now. Right. So I say, look, don't wait till you're 50, bro. Have the crisis now. Like, decide who you are, decide what you want, try some things, understand, like sit and feel the feelings after you do the thing that you do. If you like those feelings, do more of it. If you don't like those feelings, don't do more of it. And you start to learn who you are based on how your body responds to certain activities.
Yeah. And I think that's so fascinating that we as men allow so many labels to be put on us. And then at a point we just almost get fed up, right? It's basically kind of what it comes down to, like, all right, I'm tired of being everyone else's label. Like, I'm going to figure out and write my own. And we have that quote unquote midlife crisis, but we were just kind of, I feel like we're shedding those labels in that moment, is if I'm understanding you right, shedding those labels during that time and really kind of almost rebuilding yourself or allowing yourself to be you based on what you enjoy. And, it's so interesting too with that, like, how do relationships even like become healthy, like through these things, like with all the labels that men have on them, and then they're trying to figure out themselves. Like, how's the relationship even look like being healthy?
That's a good question. And I'm very literal. I'm a very, very literal person. So when you say healthy to you is different than healthy to me than is different to someone else, right? So what I say is, bro, if you're going to have a relationship with a woman, right, let it be the best possible relationship you could possibly have. And if it's not that, then just leave it alone, right? And the best possible relationship you could have is an easy and effortless relationship, right? Picture this. You're thinking about marriage. You don't know if you want to do it or not, but you might. You're thinking about, you want to start a family and things like that. You've got two women you're choosing between. One woman says, Chris, you need to give me a home and a car and a child and a white picket fence, and you got to make X amount of dollars. And the other is just like, look, I just love you. I just like hanging out with you. Like, you don't have to give me, like, I just want access to you. And as long as I have that, then, life is good. Can I see you again next week? Right? If you were going to get married, which of those two do you think is going to be easier to be married to?
Probably the one who's not asking for anything, obviously. Yeah.
And check this out. So now we're going back to biology. Women do not make demands of the men who they like a lot. They don't. They make demands of the men who they don't like that much. So therefore, you have to kind of like make up for what they don't like about you. Right? Like, you have to take this woman out to a fancy steak dinner and spend $500 to feed her, probably because she can't afford to feed herself, because she doesn't like you that much. Because if she liked you, she would just Netflix and chill with you at your place.
Sure.
Right. And so because men don't typically they don't get a lot of genuine desire from a woman, they don't even know what it's like. Like, most marriages today and most relationships are mediocre. Right. And I say that because let's say you had a side business. Let's say you had a job and you had a side business, and the side business, you're putting in 5 hours a week and you're making $50,000 a month, right? That's a great side business, right?
Yeah.
Let's fast forward 15 years in. Now you're putting in 50 hours a week and you're making $5,000 a month. Would we call that a thriving business?
Probably not.
No, that is a mediocre business. We had a great high, and then now we're just sustaining mediocrity.
Yep.
In the beginning, you met that woman before you got married and had the kids and all that. You did very little. You didn't have a house with her. You didn't have life insurance. You didn't have kids. You didn't have to wake up and lead and protect and all these things every day. And you got more from her. Now you're doing more than you've ever done, and you're getting less than you've ever gotten. That is mediocrity. I'm just calling a thing a thing. And men don't like to hear that, but it's just the truth.
Right.
And so going back to a healthy relationship, I would say go for a high quality one. And that is one where the woman sees you as her best option. If she believes that this is her best option, she's going to make no problems. She's going to give you not no problems. She's going to still give you problems because she's a woman, but she's going to give you minimum problems.
Right.
It's kind of like if you had a job, and let's say at this job, you're making $300,000 a year. You get to work from home. You love the employees. You love your team. You love everything. And then someone across the street says, hey, we'll pay you double what you make. And, everything else, you get to bring with you who you want to bring. You're probably going to go to your boss and be like, you know what, Ross? It's nothing personal. It's just better over there.
Right.
That is how women see men. Women see men the way men see jobs. And so it's just better over there. And so if she sees you like that and she says, okay, this is the best I can do, this is the best benefits I've ever had, you're not gonna like rock the boat. You're gonna go out of your way to make sure everything is copacetic and not problematic. That is how you have the best healthy relationship that you can have with a woman. She must continue to see you as her best option, or she treats you like a man who she settled for, which is a man who she doesn't like that much, who she doesn't respect that much, and they won't leave. They'll kind of just stick around and siphon the resources from you until one day she's just like, okay, I found something better. It's better over there, so off I go.
Yeah. So so with that, what if a man's in that kind of relationship and they're realizing it? What, can they fix it? Is it fixable? Or, is it that's just a difference of personalities playing together?
So yes, maybe. The answer is maybe.
Sure.
So remember how I said in a relationship, there's always a power dynamic, right?
Yep.
There's always the pursuer and there's always the pursued, right? So
Yep.
the pursuer, I was getting my hands mixed up. Okay, so the pursuer, right, gets to be with the one that they love.
Yep.
Right? They get to feel the highs and the lows of love and emotion and love and relationships. Okay. The pursued gets to be with the person that loves them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they don't get the highs and the lows. They get consistency from this person. So that's it. You either get to be in control or you get to be in love, but you don't get both. Right. So you have to pick and choose. So if in the beginning you were the person who was in control and she was the person who was in love and now it's kind of flipped, it is possible to flip it back. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Now, if you were the pursuer in the beginning and she was the pursued, meaning she's more likely to leave you than you are to leave her, then yeah, probably not. It's probably now. If you add kids to the dynamic,
sure.
This is what I tell my wife. I don't fight to keep people in my life. Like that's another crazy idea to me. Like you want to fight for your relationship. Bro, if me and you are friends, I would hope that you don't have to fight to keep me as a friend. Like
right. Yeah, exactly.
Friends because we want to be friends. So I tell clients, don't fight to keep her.
Yep.
In fact, let her leave. Every month you should sit down and ask her, hey, you still want to be here? I know it's difficult to deal with me. Like if I'm not your best option, please let me know so we can make amends. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And let's separate. Like and by doing that, what you communicate to her is I'm not afraid to lose you.
Yeah.
And that means that I am not the pursuer, I'm the pursued.
Yeah.
Right. And so if
that's
you
flipping it back. So like if at the beginning, if the male was the pursuer, female was pursued, and now at this point, and it flips to the male being the pursued, and she would have to be the pursuer. Is that how does that dynamic work?
That is better to me. It is better for because again, you can either be in control or you can be in love, right? So you either get a crazy high and low emotions or you get consistency, right?
Right.
And here's the other thing: both men and women love to be the pursued. I'm sorry, the pursuer, because we all love the feeling of love, right?
Sure.
But have you ever been with a woman who was so beautiful or the sex was just so amazing that you're doing things that you know damn well you shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, I say probably, yeah.
I have too. That's scary. That's dangerous. When you have a business and a career and you've got kids, like you can't afford to. I think it is always best for the woman to be in the pursuer position, right?
Yep.
So although I love my wife, like she gets to be in love with me. So I let her have all the good feelings. And that allows me to just make decisions and cast the vision, right? And as long as she believes that I'm her best option, I'm going to get significantly less problems from her versus a woman who like I am pursuing. Like let's say I met Megan Good or Halle Berry or something like that. There's no way and like I would have to pursue them. They're not going to pursue me, right? And so I think this goes to what you're saying. Men have to understand that you can't have any kind of relationship with any kind of woman. You can only have certain relationships with certain kind of people. And so you can only have a long-lasting, high-quality, respectful, lustful relationship long-term with a woman who is pursuing you, not the other way around.
Yeah. That's a good point and a good way to kind of clarify it. And again, it's like relationships are messy, right? So there's always work to be done and things that you need to be thinking of long term. Um, was there a point when you realized that how you were showing up in relationships had nothing to do with the other person and just how you saw yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know. I don't even really think you can work on a relationship because what you really you're always 50% of the relationship and you only
Right.
can control you. So you work on your relationship with another person, whether it's your woman or your friend or whoever, by working on your relationship with yourself, right?
Yep.
Because your woman cannot love you more than you love yourself. She cannot respect you more than you respect yourself. She cannot
Yep.
desire you more than you desire yourself. So by investing in you, you
Yep.
make your half of the relationship better.
Yeah. It's so true. It's like in business too. Like from my perspective, your business can only grow and succeed to the level of which you can lead and manage. And so if you're not improving yourself as a business owner, as a leader, you're leveling off where you can get to. So yeah, that's such a crucial thing to think about. We should always be, trying to improve ourselves in different aspects. And um now something you mentioned earlier probably pissed a lot of people off was you talking about the man being in control, right?
Mhm.
Um uh, with that, is there a difference between a man who leads and controls in a relationship? Are those two different things, or are they
I'm
kind of
so glad you brought that up, bro.
yeah,
The answer to me is no. The answer to
yeah,
me is no. So yeah, the answer is yes. But let me put it this way. I I literally wrote this down yesterday.
nice.
I was writing down what beliefs do I have that are no longer serving me, right?
Mhm.
And one of my beliefs around leadership is that like it's just a lot of effort, bro. Like
Yep.
it's a lot of effort.
Right.
Um And I think that some people are like, I'm a leader in the sense that I love myself and I like myself and I want men to understand and love and like themselves too. And so because of that, they're attracted to me and now they want my input. Right. So in that sense, I am a leader. But it's like, I also don't want to tell people what to do. Like, who am I to tell you how to become a better man as if
Right.
who you are is not good enough? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So from that perspective, like but like leadership is control, leadership is emotional manipulation, leadership is all of these things, right? And what's the difference between manipulation and influence? The connotation, because they're the same exact
Yep.
thing. Am
Right.
I influencing my son to do his homework, or am I manipulating him to do his homework? It's
Right.
the same damn thing to me. It's just how you want to spin it, right?
Sure.
So in a relationship, when it comes to leading or controlling your woman, the difference is sexual attraction. The
Okay.
difference is sexual attraction. Let me tell you this story. I love this story. So I'm chilling with a good friend of mine, a female. We dated for a very short time. She was beautiful. This I was pursuing her, and this didn't work out. It did not work out. But we're chilling one day, right? And she gives massages, right?
Okay.
To as like a side business. She was
Sure.
a server, and so we're sitting in her job. We're talking, and she was telling me about some guy who I think was like an African royalty, whatever, some African guy who was potentially wanting to be a client
Okay.
and wanting to get a massage from her. And I was asking, like, are you gonna do it? And she was like, I don't know, maybe, maybe not, because again, they're afraid of everything all the time. She was like, and her literal words were, if I'm alone with him in the room, he might try to pick me up or do something to me. So I don't know, right?
Mm.
So then all of a sudden we switched conversations to we're talking about my wife, right? And her and my wife and I, like we've all sat and had dinner and everyone's friends, right?
Sure.
And she was talking about taking my wife to a male strip club, which I'm fine with because like I'm not gay, so I don't want to go. But I am very curious, like, what the fuck are they doing in there, right? Like go
Right.
and report back, right? And so she was like, yeah, I'll take her. We won't do anything disrespectful. And so I'm asking her, I'm like, what do you like about like male strip clubs so much?
Mhm.
And verbatim, Chris, she said, oh, they're just so big and strong. They might like pick me up and do something to me.
Oh,
Right.
interesting.
It was
Uh-huh.
the exact same words. The
Uh-huh.
difference was attraction. The
Mm.
difference was attraction. So that's what it comes down to. When they're not attracted to you, they say he's controlling. When they're super
Mm.
attracted, they say, oh my God, he's so decisive. He's such a leader.
Right.
Right. Which is
Yep.
why I tell my clients, do what you want to do. And the woman who believes that you're her best option will want to do it with you. No coercion needed.
Do you think communication is still crucial in those? So for example, if the male is controlling or making a decision, maybe financially or for the family without communicating it. What is your thoughts on that?
So broad answer, you can't not communicate.
Right.
What people tend to think is that the only way to communicate is with words. Like, we need to talk. That's not
Gotcha.
true.
Right.
That's not true. If you call me 200 times and I don't answer, I'm communicating that I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I go in for a hug and she turns her back to me, she's communicating I don't want a hug, or I'm hurt, or something like that. Right. And when it comes to financial or buying decisions, typically there's three types of guys. There's guys who ask their woman for permission to buy something as if she's his mother. Okay. And then you have guys who are like, I want to buy this. I just want to get on the same page. I want to let her know. Well, there's the bottom level, they ask for permission. The top level, they're like, I'm buying it, I'll let her know later. And then there's the middle guy who's like, I want to get on the same accord. Like, I want to do this. And they're kind of like in the middle. But at the end of the day, I always tell women, like, if you're with a man who you believe is faster, taller, stronger, more confident, more capable of making better decisions than you, why not sit back and let him lead? Why fight for control for a man who you chose to be with, unless you don't trust this man's judgment? Right? Like, to me, that spells disaster. You're not with the man who you believe is your best option if you don't trust him. So that is a relationship I would say, hey, it's time to either let that man lead or part ways, because you're just going to waste each other's time.
Yeah. Because how does that work if those situations there's no like leaving, they stay, and there's a transfer of energy, right? I mean, it goes from one to the other. You can say it's like an energy sucker.
Wait, you're saying who doesn't leave, the man or the woman doesn't leave?
Either of them, they just stay.
That's misery. That's misery. And so at that point, you have to ask yourself, is this really the best that you can do as a man? Is the best you can do walking on eggshells, having her cook meals for you once or twice, a day, and not getting to not see your kids every other week? Like, is that the best that life has to offer to you? Is that the best that you think you can do? And if so, God bless your heart. God bless you. God bless you. Because it sounds like a miserable existence to me. I would recommend those men say, hey, babe, this is not working. I love you. I don't want to tear the family apart, but I also don't want to sit and suffer. So let's just part ways amicably and let's figure this out. And ironically, when you do that, she'll change. She'll change.
Do you think people can change? Do you think female would actually change long term, or just initially to try to make it seem better?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I think it really comes down to whether you're with a woman who values men and masculinity or who does not value men and masculinity. That's really what it comes down to. I'll speak only for the Black community because that's where I grew up at. A lot of our women were not raised to be team players. They were raised to be strong and independent. Right. And so I've met women who will just they'll change in the short term, but long term, their plan is not to. But at the same time, I don't really judge them because I understand it, bro. We're human. Like human nature is the path of least resistance. Like if I had the choice to work 100 hours a week and make 100 million a year, or work 10 hours a week and make 100 million, I'm working 10 hours a week. 100%. So I don't blame them for wanting to do less and get more. However, they are more attracted to men who set a high standard and say, hey, if you want to be here with me, if you want access to me, my goodness, my last name, here's what the standard is. You can either live up to it or you cannot, and we can part ways. The choice is up to you. And to me, that's the best position to be in. However, you have to be willing to leave. You have to be willing to. I'm not saying you have to leave. You absolutely have to be willing to. You can't be bluffing, because then she'll know you're bluffing, and then she'll have no reason to change.
Yeah. So with that, you almost kind of like give a line in the sand moment to him, right? Is kind of what it sounds like. So with that, like, are we talking, hey, you're not taking care of yourself physically very well. You're not, helping around the house very much. You're not taking care of yourself spiritually, if for those who are in that as well. Like, are those all things that you can like put out there and say, hey, these need to change?
Yes.
Because
Like,
you hear people like, well, oh, you're just vain, it's
who
been
cares?
a long time, and
Who
they've
cares?
had
No,
kids
this
or
is
they
your
work a
life.
lot.
If you want a skinny woman who rubs your feet every night, then that's what
Right.
you want, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
want a thicker woman who cooks you collard greens every night, that's what you want. So this
Right.
comes back to what we were talking
Yep.
about earlier. Who
Yeah.
are you? What do you need? What do you want?
Yep.
For me, I know I'm sensitive, meaning like I sense a lot of things. Like I
Sure.
could have a conversation with someone and most people will just focus on the words. I hear the tonality, I hear the
Yep.
speed at which they're talking, I hear the underlying message in what they're saying. So like I'm sensing a lot of things and it can be overwhelming. So for me, when I'm overwhelmed, I need a woman who can sense that I'm overwhelmed and then knows what to do, what my protocol is to help me unwind. It might
Sure.
be go get me ice cream. It might be book me a massage. It might be right. So I need a woman who's
Yeah.
attentive to me. That's what I need. Me, right? What Chris
Yeah.
needs might be totally different. But yes, I recommend you write it on paper and you let her know up front. So like this is what I'm looking for. And if you don't match this, cool. We don't have to talk anymore. Right.
Yeah.
And the woman who really likes you will find a way to mold and match what it is that you're looking for. And
sure.
you just have her do that consistently. And you have to always be willing to detach yourself. And so I teach my clients like you want to love without attachment. Because I can love you and not be with you. I can love you from a distance.
Right.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And it's an interesting time we're in too, because we're seeing so much more of divorces happening more, prenups becoming a normal thing, which, whatever. That's it's whatever. But people staying single, people don't even want to get married. People, we've seen so much of that side of it, which is such a drastic contrast from, when we were growing up, marriage was the thing that, the American dream type thing. Why do you think we were seeing such a shift or a flop over to those decisions versus what we grew up seeing?
Two things.
Yeah.
One, remember how I was saying earlier that a woman, you have to be a woman's perceived best option, right?
Right.
Well, if a lot of men, here's a fact, you can go look it up. Testosterone across all species of animals has been dropping over the last 40 or 50 years. So like this is monkeys, fish, humans, everything. So men are literally less masculine than they've ever been, right?
Yep.
And so you also have some women, now women are not making more than men on average, like that's hogwash, but there are some women who are doing quite well financially.
Sure.
And so it's so interesting. A man will get money and then want to take care of a woman in the family. A woman will get money and say, I don't want to date down. Right. So women don't build families and they don't build communities. And so from their perspective, from their biology, which is not right or wrong, it's just their biology. Yeah. They think, okay, you must have equal to me or more. And because women will go out here and price themselves out of the market. They'll make $200,000 and then they'll meet a guy who's like, all the guys they meet only make 80. And it's like, well, you fall like biologically, you are less attractive to her. Right. And I think the best,
it's almost like a subconscious
unattraction. Yeah, exactly. It's not, it is absolutely subconscious. And so who I think is really winning at the highest level that you could actually do it is Oprah. Believe it or not. Like she's a billionaire or whatever she is. Right. She's got her man Stedman. I don't even know what he looks like, but like she's got rich and she's got the man that she wants. You typically get one or the other as a woman. You don't typically get both.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So that's the first half.
Yeah.
I think women are choosing to be alone because biologically it makes more sense if you're not as capable as her in her mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then secondly, men don't value themselves. Men don't value themselves. And so it's like, how can you now? I'll tell you, my wife out earns me, but that doesn't mean anything to me. Like that doesn't, if anything, is like, great. Now I can use your money to fund my dreams. Great. Right. I know men who don't work and they have multiple wives and the men stay home. The man stays home. So I'm seeing a totally different paradigm. I see men who love and value and respect themselves so much that others love, value, and respect them, and he gets it his way all the time. So that's what I teach my clients to have. Now, if you go out here and you do what the average man is doing, which, average is terrible, average is poor, no one wants average.
Right. Yeah.
Then you're going to get average man results. But in summation, women are doing better. And so biologically, the men who used to be good options are no longer good options. And two, men don't love, respect, or value themselves. And so the women are less likely to love, value, and respect the men.
Yeah. So what we're saying is we need to bring back toxic masculinity where no, just kidding. No,
There's no
men,
such thing,
right?
bro.
But
There's
that's
just,
different.
it's
Like
just
men need to
masculinity.
be out there, and men should be working hard. And I think a lack of labor jobs too is decreased some of
Well, here's the
that.
thing. I think it's simpler than that, bro. I think men should do what they want to do.
That's true. I mean, you
Period.
think,
Period. And I also, this might sound controversial. I think hard work is highly overrated. It's
Yeah.
highly overrated. I was sitting with talking to a mentor in Atlanta, and we were in this office, this business building, right? And he's like, the people who like poured the concrete worked hard, but the guy who drew the architecture got paid more, right?
Sure.
So it's, to me, rather than work hard, which is very, do you know, I Googled, this was years ago. I Googled, I thought I had a bad work ethic, right? So I started Googling book titles with work ethic or hard work in the title. Guess how many I found?
I don't know.
Zero.
Zero?
The books that came up were about time management.
Yeah.
So it would make more sense to say men need to learn how to manage their time better. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure. But again, if you can be more efficient in less time, and remember, this is the engineer in me, then do that. Right. But more than work hard, you need to love yourself. You need to respect yourself. You need to understand that, bro, you are valuable as a being, as a vessel. Like you were, I believe that we were all made in the image of a God, right? Like if I have a dog and I said, hey, this thing behind this curtain is made in the image of a dog, it's a fucking dog, right? So if I'm made in the image of a God, that means I'm a God. That means that I was born wonderfully made. I was born perfect. He didn't make any mistakes when he made me. Right. He didn't make any mistakes when he made you. However, social media, movies, television, women will get you to believe that your nature is toxic, meaning feminine nature is good, masculine nature is bad. And so like you're a bad guy because of it. Bullshit, bro. I love myself. There's nothing wrong with me. Right. And so when a woman hears me talk like this, they're like, oh, that's interesting. I've never heard that. Yeah. Right. That's what men need. They need love for self. I think is the biggest missing piece.
Yeah. It's almost like I'd rather be a warrior in a garden, type quote. We want to be able to do, come down to it, bad things, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want to have to do bad things, but we're capable, right?
Well, here's the thing. Violence isn't bad. Violence is a part of nature.
Yep.
Is a part of nature. Protecting your family. They call it toxic masculinity when it's masculinity that shows up in a way they don't like. Right? If someone is breaking into your home, then they want you to be violent. They just don't want you to be violent towards them. But then they date guys who go to jail for beating their wives. So it's like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. There's just masculinity. There's nothing toxic about me.
Right. It's how people use it. Because obviously beating your wife, completely wrong.
Yeah.
Standing up for someone who can't stand up for themselves, and maybe physically have to defend them. Good. Mm-hmm. So there are.
I look at it like guns. Like guns aren't bad. People do the bad things with the guns. Yep. They're just a tool. Yep. Masculinity is a tool.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. And I think we need to live into it a little bit more. But man, AD, this has been a great conversation. I think we hit on a lot of great stuff that guys and even females listening can start to really think on and really start to shed some labels so they can be who they truly should be. And I'd love for you to share kind of where people could find you, can continue to learn from you and get your help even if they need it.
Yes. So on all social media platforms, the TikToks, the Instagram, at AD the Kingmaker, no funky spellings, no nothing like that. And if you are a man who's in a relationship, you're a husband, and you're looking to bring back your wife's desire and softness in days, not weeks, not years, not months. You want it to be fast. You want it to be fun, right? And you want to bring back the lust and the blowjobs and all that good stuff. Go to the 30dayfix.net. That is the numbers, the letters, THE, the numbers 30dayfix.net/husband. And if you're a wife who wants to also bring that back, because men don't realize this, your woman feels bad for not wanting you anymore. She feels bad that she doesn't want you as much as she did in the beginning, and she doesn't know why. So if you're a wife who wants to bring that desire back and you want your man to step up and you want to get more out of him by doing less, go to the 30dayfix.net/wife to get access to my private webinar and get some one-on-one coaching.
Awesome. Yeah. So if y'all are interested, make sure you connect with AD, learn from them, and yeah, take them up on our offer. Again, AD, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me, man. This is a pleasure.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this, share this with someone who might need to hear it. Together we can help so many more people and spread the message out there. So and if you haven't yet, make sure you follow or like the show. It just helps us keep doing this and keep putting out episodes. So again, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, continue to elevate your life, elevate your brand, and we'll talk to you again soon.